Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a few studies, or in this case just two studies, of some girls I found on Pinterest, and there's a link in the description for my inspiration board there. I'm starting out with a darker skin tone girl, and for that reason I am using a technique called grisaille. It comes from the word for grey in French, gris. And it is an underpainting process that usually is painted with grey. I'm not making a grayscale underpainting now because I thought that the grey would dull down the skin tone color that I was using, or that I was going to use. Whatever. And I really like the way this one turned out, because this color, this purplish color, works really well with that burnt sienna type non-granulating color. And I think it helped bring a lot of life to the painting. And it is, because it is pinkish instead of grayish, it brings that something, I don't really know how to explain this, but it makes it look better, okay? Now, something that is very important for the versatility of this palette is that the burnt sienna version I have here is a little bit more red than your usual burnt sienna, and is a lot less granulating than any other burnt sienna I have tried. It is mostly non-granulating. I don't think I ever saw it granulate even a little bit. And it mixes beautiful with sennelier Payne's grey that is also non-granulating and has a bluish tint, and that means it is perfect to get a really nice dark brown that is not either dull or greyish or anything like that. So it's really nice. I really enjoy it. As you can see, I am adding right now some Potter's Pink, the love of my life. I love Potter's Pink. I am mixing some Potter's Pink with the Payne's grey to give the Payne's grey a little bit of texture, to make her shirt seem almost like a knitted shirt. I don't know how to say it, but I hope you understand, like a wool shirt. And yeah, I really like how it is turning out. Now, something about this palette is that it is very versatile in terms of skin tone painting, and that means I can paint super dark skin tones without getting it grey, or paint super light skin tones without leaving it washed out. And you'll see later in the video that I will paint a very light-skinned girl, an Asian girl, and I really like how that turned out also. And I think it's mainly because of the paints, because the paints just helped me keep her face granulation free and less patchy than if I wasn't paying attention to what pigments I was using. Another thing I think this palette is really nice for is painting hair. I think this palette is able even to produce the colors of the most fiery redheads, not the painted ones, the natural haired ones, fiery red thing, Because when you mix that burnt sienna thing with the permanent rose, it creates almost a red that is slightly less saturated than a red, and is perfect for red hair. What can I say? It's the best. It's one of the best palettes I've ever tried for painting hair and skin. And also dogs, because as you will be able to see in my next sketchbook tour, I painted my uncle's dog and he looks really cute with these colors. I will put on some music and I will come back when I am in the second girl's portrait. Okay, as you can see, I have already laid a base for her skin tone, but you can see that her skin looks fairly even. Most of the texture there is texture from the paper, and that is what I was talking about a little bit ago when I was talking about that burnt sienna and the Payne's grey thing. It all has to do with granulation, and that's why her skin doesn't look particularly patchy right now. As you can see, I didn't use the grisaille technique on her because her skin is too light to for me to be able to use that underpainting there. But I did use it a little bit on her hair, which I don't think made a huge difference because her hair is very dark either way. And that Payne's grey doesn't really let the purple on her hair shine too much. Now I'm using the technique I usually use to paint the blush, and that little redness around the nose and the eyes, that, you know, around the eyes almost looks like makeup, and around the nose it gives just that little cute nose blush that I really like. As you can see, I'm starting to lay down the Payne's grey as her hair color, and I actually don't mind the way it turned out, but it's not my favorite hair. Not my favorite time I drew hair. I think it is okay, but it's not great. Still, I would really like to experiment a little bit more with the grisaille technique, especially with this purple. Oh, and a side note, this purple I don't think it is light fast, so I use it only in sketchbooks, and it is no longer in production. So what I'm going to do when I run out is I will switch it for Perylene Violet, which is a very, very similar color, but it has excellent light fastness, I believe. And it is still in production, and it is really similar overall. And it is also non-granulating, so it is great to paint grisaille underneath skin, just like I did in the first girl. Now, about the palette itself, I really like the Potter's Pink, that it is great, but amazing for backgrounds like the one you're seeing right now, because it creates this soft, subtle pink, harsh texture that helps give a little bit of something in the background instead of leaving it just white, and I really like that. Also, because I'm enjoying so much this pigment, I have already gone through a whole 5 milliliter tube in 2 months. So yeah, it is a low tinting strength color. So when I mix it with Payne's grey or with any other color, like I did in the first girl's shirt, it needs too much Potter's Pink in comparison to what it needs of the other color to make a decent mixture. But I don't mind, because the granulation is so beautiful that I think I'm just going to keep using that color like forever, because it's the best color. Not the best, but one of my favorites, okay? Yeah, about this palette still. There's this thing I really don't like about it, which is the yellow ochre I chose. I'm using a Van Gogh yellow ochre, and it is too opaque for me. I know yellow ochre is opaque and usually super opaque, but I can't work with it properly. As you can see, I barely used the yellow ochre in these two paintings, and it was because it is so opaque I can barely use it. And for that reason, I am switching it out with for the White Nights one. So, Overall, I had a great time using this palette, and I highly recommend you give a try to a limited palette like this one. And if you need, you can follow my tutorial on making, your own costume palette. I will link it in the card above, along with the playlist about grisaille and with the other video I talked about. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. Any suggestion, you can leave a comment below and I will be sure to read it and reply to you. You can also subscribe if you want. And if you do, don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.